And now, Death Valley Days. Howdy, folks. I'm the old ranger, and I have another interesting true story for you about the historic Death Valley country. Up in the high Sierras, so near the state boundary that for a long time nobody knew whether it lay in Nevada or California, is the old mining camp of Aurora. In Nevada. Now, you may think they had their history as well as their geography confused when I tell you that this story is about Nevada's Plymouth Rock. This is the main street of Aurora in the year 1863.
A bullet went right through it. It's a miracle he wasn't killed.
Well, I guess I shouldn't have let him go on that errand alone, but, well, he begged so hard.
It would have happened even if one of us had been along. The point is, he shouldn't be here at all. Oh, this is no place to bring up a child, John. A wild, lawless camp.
Oh, Aurora's pretty decent.
Gunfights, street brawls.
I've seen drunks on the streets of Boston. What about that runaway in your hometown of Plymouth? He killed 2 people.
I'm not just talking about physical dangers. It's the whole rawness of the life out here.
Give us time, dear. This is new country.
So new, they've only just found out which state Aurora's in. Can you imagine back home not knowing whether you lived in Massachusetts or Maine?
Maine used to be a part of Massachusetts, if I remember my history correctly.
Oh, John, I'm serious. It's all right for you to settle here. You're a man. What kind of a future does it offer for our child?
Make a man out of him, too.
Oh, John.
The boy's got to learn, Abby.
He needs standards to live up to, a background.
He's got us.
He needs community standards. You just don't seem to understand, John.
No, I don't. For a camp that's only 3 years old, I think Aurora's done mighty well.
Producing ore.
Yes, and believe me, I'm out to get my share of it.
Well, money isn't everything.
No, but it helps. Helps relieve suffering, win wars. Yeah. See here what Major Sherman's doing? He's staging an auction tomorrow to raise money for the National Sanitary Commission. That's the organization that takes care of the sick and wounded in the war, no matter which side they're fighting on.
Yes, I know.
For the publisher of a rabid unionist newspaper like the Star, I think that's pretty wonderful. Shows what kind of a man he is.
What are they auctioning off?
Specimen of ore, donated by the Wide West Mining Company. Yeah, it's a beauty. It's on exhibit over at the Hickey Saloon.
A saloon. It would be.
Well, sure. Want as many folks as possible to see it. Draw a big crowd to the auction.
What's an auction?
Chip, what are you doing up at this hour?
I want to go to the auction.
Auction's not till tomorrow, son.
You get straight back to bed now before you catch your death of cold.
Can I go tomorrow, can I, Mama?
It's nothing you'd be interested in, dear. Auctions aren't for little boys.
What is an auction?
You get to bed now.
I want to see the auction.
Well, they got it up there. Hi, boys. Pretty good. What do you want, Sonny?
Let's see the auction.
It ain't started. Here, I'll pick you up. What do you got there, Fly? I got a kid for sale.
I'm for sale.
Yes, you are. We're going to auction you off. Who'll start the bidding? I'll bid 2 bids. He's all yours. I'll make it 4 bids.
It's Chip. They're mauling him. Put him down. How dare you?
We're just having a little fun, ma'am.
Fun. Maltreating a small boy.
You ain't hurt, are you, Sonny?
Of course not.
Scaring him half to death. Mama's here, darling.
I wasn't scared one bit.
I could hear you screaming for help. You ought to be ashamed of yourselves.
No, they meant no harm, dear.
They was knocking me off, Mama.
It was just a joke, Abby.
I fail to see the humor.
You want your kid to be a sissy.
It's plain you're not a mother. Come on, dear, we're going home.
Can't I stay, please, Mama? I want to stay.
You've had enough, and so have I.
Well, good morning.
Hello, Major Tim.
Good morning, Major Sherman.
You're not leaving.
I'm afraid so.
Just as the auction's about to begin, you can't do that. It'll be exciting.
But no place for women and children.
You don't have to bid. Just cheer the others on.
Oh, how about it, Abby?
You stay and represent the family.
That I will.
It's a wonderful cause, Major Sherman. I hope you raise a lot of money.
Thank you.
Goodbye, Tim.
Citizens of Aurora, I have here before me a specimen of ore from the Wide West Mine. One of the richest and most beautiful specimens that this camp has ever produced.
Oh, we read all that in the papers.
Go ahead and start the auction. If any of you would like to step up here and examine this ore.
Heck, it's been an exhibition all week. Start the bidding.
Yeah, start it up.
Let's get going.
All right, my friends. For we are all friends today, remember that. We're neither Southerners nor Yankees, Republicans or Democrats. We're simply human beings united in a common cause, the relief of human suffering. When you bid, remember your money is going to an organization that knows no race, creed, nor politics. It ministers to the boys in blue and the boys in gray. God have mercy on them.
All right, folks, let's go. What am I bid for this fine specimen of ore?
$10.
20.
25.
50.
$100.
$100. Do I hear more?
125.
$150.
Another county heard from.
$200.
$200. Not a fraction of what it's worth. Why, this specimen weighs at least
$250.
300. $300. $300. Now we're getting somewhere. The gentleman bids $300. Do I hear 350?
350.
400.
$400. $400. Why, the silver alone in this specimen would assay at...
$500.
You took the words right out of my mouth, madam.
550. 600.
650.
$700. $700. $700. Remember, every extra dollar goes for more blankets, more bandages, more medicine for our soldiers.
800.
825.
$850.
900.
925.
925. $925. Somebody make it 1,000. $1,000 for our boys on the battlefield, for our boys in the hospitals. You can't let them down.
$1,000.
$1,000. The gentleman bids $1,000. Any more bid? Going? Going? Gone for $1,000 to Mr. John Marshall of Massachusetts. Hooray!
Here you are, John.
Yeah, leave it where it is, sir.
But you own it.
Well, then I can auction it off again, can't I?
You mean you want me to go through
No,
all...
no. I'll do the auctioneering this time. I bet you I can get more money out of this crowd than you did.
Here's $50. Says you can't.
Oh, taken. Okay, step aside, Major. All right, folks, now let's go. What am I offered for this handsome specimen of ore? Come on, let's begin with 100. Who'll give me $100?
$100.
Nice. Well, $100. That's
200.
$200. That's the way to go. Come on, let's have another $100.
$300.
$300. Now you're going. Come on, let's go. $400. $400. $450.
You gave them $1,000?
Well, you know how it is at an auction, dear. You get swept off your feet.
$1,000? John, that represents all our savings.
Yes, I know.
The money we've been putting by for Chip's education, to send him to school back east when he's old enough. We'd agreed, John. You'd promised.
I'll save more, Abby. There's plenty of time.
You had no right.
Well, at least it was in a good cause.
You think the sanitary fund is more important than your son's education?
Darling, Chip is only 5 years old.
Oh, I can't wait till the time comes for him to go back to civilization, attend a good New England school.
Abby, there's a war on. Men are suffering, disabled.
All right. Give. But give in proportion to what you've got, not everything you own. There's no sense in impoverishing ourselves just because you were carried away by emotion.
I'm sorry.
I suppose the ore is worth something.
I haven't got the ore.
You haven't? What happened to it?
Well, I turned it back to be auctioned off again. And the next fella did the same thing, and the next. Abby, we raised over $11,000 altogether.
And where is the ore now?
Major Sherman took it back to the office with him.
Well, the least he can do is to give it to you.
Oh, Abby.
Well, you were the first to win it.
So what?
Well, if you'd kept it, they'd only raised $1,000 for the fund. As it is, they made 11 times as much. You're certainly entitled to the ore. Ask for it back.
I should say not.
Well, what's Major Sherman going to do with it now that it's served its purpose?
That's his business. Put it on display, I guess.
Well, if you were to go to him and explain how you overreached yourself, bidding our entire savings, he'd understand, I'm sure. Well, the Major's a good friend of ours and fine in every way.
Abby, a man doesn't welch on a bargain. I pledged that $1,000.
Very well. If you won't ask him, I will.
Hello, Mrs. Marshall.
Hello, Tim.
If you're looking for Major Sherman, he's not here.
When will he be back?
Not for several months, I'm afraid.
Several months.
Yes, he took the noon stage for the East on business.
Oh, I had no idea.
Well, it was quite sudden. In fact, he just had time to write the story of the auction for this week's issue and forward the proceeds to the National Sanitary Commission. Have you heard? We raised $11,000.
Yes. And what happened to the specimen of ore?
Oh, that. The Major took it back east with him.
Back east?
In a carpet bag. Yes, ma'am. I guess to show him how rich we all are out here in Aurora.
Out of my way, Sonny, or I'll pick you up and sell you to the engines. giant powder cap. Is he? No, he's still alive. Doc's over in Bodie. I'll saddle up and go fetch him.
Chip. Chip.
He's past the crisis. It looks like he's going to be all right.
Thank you, Doctor. I don't know what to say.
Now, you get some rest while he's still sleeping. You need it, both of you.
We can never thank you enough, Doctor.
Well, it was the good Lord that pulled him through. You thank him. I'll look in again in the morning.
If he hadn't lived, I'd never have forgiven myself.
Darling, don't say that.
You were right, Abby. This is no place to bring up a child. As soon as he's well, you're taking him back home to civilization.
John!
I'll send you some money.
You mean you're not coming with us?
Well, not for a while. Darling, where in the East have I got a chance to make a fortune as I have here? You go and take Chip with you. Your family will be more than glad to have you with them. You can put Chip in school in Plymouth.
Where I used to teach.
Sure. He'll be able to make friends with children like himself.
Go to the Congregational Church.
Where we were married.
John, you're so good. Forgive me for all the harsh things I said about the auction. It was mean and ungenerous of me.
They've all been forgotten long ago. Now, you have to get some rest, like the doctor said. Because you got weeks of nursing ahead of you before that boy is well enough to travel.
You were so young when we left home, you probably don't even remember Plymouth.
What does it look like?
Well, it's not just how it looks, it's what it is.
What it is?
Plymouth was the first white settlement in New England, where our forefathers landed.
Forefathers?
The Pilgrims. This book tells the whole story. They came from the old world in a little sailing vessel called the Mayflower, looking for a country where they could be free. After 9 long, weary weeks at sea, they sighted land, America, and dropped anchor off a storm-lashed coast. It was just before Christmas in the year 1620. The rock on which they stepped ashore is known as Plymouth Rock, the threshold to a new continent and a new life. It was a hard life, lonely and dangerous. That first terrible winter, they buried nearly half their number. And yet, their faith in God never faltered. And when the Mayflower set sail again for England and they had a chance to go back, there wasn't one soul who left. That's the kind of people our ancestors were, willing to brave a wilderness for the things they believed in. Do you wonder I'm proud of our heritage?
Is Plymouth Rock still there?
Yes, it nearly disappeared under the sands at one time, but they rescued it. You'll see it when we get back home.
I can hardly wait.
Neither can I. So you hurry up now and get well. Chip, settle down now.
Why does the stage come, Mama?
Yeah. It is a little late.
Hello, Plug.
Howdy, Chip. How are you?
We're going back home on the stage.
I'll be glad it ain't in a candle box.
What's a candle box?
It's what they ship miners' remains in.
Remains?
After they fool with giant powder. So long, fella. Ma'am?
He's nice.
Yes, for a rough man, he's... Oh, they've all been nice. Oh, John, I wish that... I can't imagine what's keeping that stage.
You, have your tickets all right?
In my reticule.
And your money?
You won't forget to write?
Don't you forget either.
Here comes the stage!
Oh, dear I wish you were coming with us. I don't like leaving you here alone.
No, don't worry about me. I'm going to be all right.
You will join us before too terribly long. Major Sherman.
My dear Mrs. Marshall.
Welcome back to Aurora, Major.
Hello, Major.
Hiya, Tim.
Glad to see you.
I've been looking forward to seeing you. I've just visited your old hometown.
Plymouth?
Brought you news of all your friends.
Well, as a matter of
Let's
fact,
get on the stage, Mama.
The stage won't be leaving for a while, Chip.
It won't?
We had an accident to the rear axle, this side of Bodie. It'll take time to mend it.
Well, how long?
Several hours, the driver said.
Oh, gee.
Well, in that case, we might as well go back to the house and wait.
Will you come with us, Major? I'm eager to hear about your visit to Plymouth.
I could even supply a drink.
Well, thanks. I'll see you at the office later, Tim.
Yes, sir.
When I left Plymouth, I presented the specimen of ore to my host, Mr. Davis. You remember Mr. Davis?
Of course, head of the Pilgrim Society, an old neighbor.
And in return, he gave me this. A fragment of Plymouth Rock.
Plymouth Rock?
What you were telling me about, Mama?
It was chipped off accidentally back in 1700 when they were bringing the rock into view again from under the sand.
And they let you have it.
As a symbol from one group of pioneers to another.
It sort of sends tingles up my spine.
Can I touch it? The rock the Pilgrims landed on. Maybe they stepped right on this very piece.
Maybe they did, Chip.
And what are you going to do with it?
Put it in the safest place I can think of, where it'll be preserved for future generations of Nevadans. I'm going to have it cemented in the wall of our new courthouse. And I want you, my dear, to have a hand in the ceremony.
Me?
As a descendant of the Mayflower Pilgrims, and the only person in Aurora who comes from Plymouth.
I do too. Can I have a hand?
Forget, son, you're leaving.
Oh, it'll be a few days. The early part of next week, probably, before we hold the ceremony. You'll be back by then, won't you? Well, where are you going? Sacramento?
Well, I was going much farther than that, but for this, I'll wait.
Into the walls of this courthouse, dedicated to justice and liberty, the ideals for which our forefathers strove most, we place this piece of Plymouth Rock, the symbol of that undying spirit which carries man forever forward to carve his destiny on new frontiers.
John, I'm so glad.
That your ancestors came over on the Mayflower?
And to be a citizen of Aurora. I've only just begun to realize we're pioneers too, helping to make the history of America. May our children be as proud of us as we are of those who have gone before.
And of course she stayed. But I'm willing to bet that there isn't a history book in the country that tells this true story of the exchange, back there in 1864, of a piece of Nevada gold ore for a piece of historic Plymouth Rock.